Hi, my name is Matthew from Code4Kids, and I'm going to take you through a quick tour of Code4Kids and how teachers are using Code4Kids to teach coding, robotics and IT, and digital literacy in the school classroom. First and foremost, Code4Kids is focused around the teacher. So the teachers will be able to watch these little 10-minute tutorials, and these tutorials will take the teacher through everything they need to know before they teach the lesson. We have realized that you could have the best content or learning management system in the world, but without a teacher being supported, it really isn't going to have the effect. So everything Code4Kids does is support the teacher, and we're very proud to say that more than 95% of our customers who use Code4Kids will actually complete the curriculum every year. We can see we have these courses: building a website, test a dog, Kip the robot, JavaScript, Python, drones, fake news and AI. But I'm going to go here and show you. So the teacher will watch the tutorial, and in this tutorial, after they've had training, a very short little online training if they choose, this 10-minute tutorial will explain everything a teacher needs to know. This can be a teacher with a huge amount of expertise and experience in teaching coding, but it can also be plenty of teachers we've worked with who have never ever taught a single coding lesson in their life. So I'm going to jump into this lesson here. I've got it open already, in fact, and this lesson is the very first lesson your 10-year-olds could do. So here we have a 10-year-old, and what the teacher would then say: this is intimidating, this is code. And a lot of students might be intimidated, a lot of teachers might be intimidated by this. But what we say is the left-hand side is us speaking to a computer in the language the computer understands, and the right-hand side is what the computer has understood. So the very first thing the teacher will say is delete the question mark and write your name. I'm going to write my name, Matthew, and you can see it will pop up to Matthew on the right-hand side. Now what the teacher then does is the teacher steps back and lets the student complete all the other question marks. What's our flower? What's this big clock in London called? What's our population? Now what's interesting here is this might create a discussion around, some students might say 6 million, some students might say 6 billion. It's really about creating a conversation where the coding is just the afterthought. The students are just getting comfortable with this environment on the left-hand side without actually learning to code just yet. Once they finish that, the teacher then jumps across, and the teacher will step back after 10-15 minutes and say, okay, we have 3 languages that are on every single website in the world. There's HTML. He's the builder, the bookshelf. He holds everything together. CSS, she's the artist, or she's the books in the bookshelf. She adds style and shape and color. And JavaScript, she's the engineer. She makes things add, subtract, multiply, divide. She takes the books in and out of the bookshelf. So we've done a little bit of HTML, if you like, but now the teacher says, everyone go on to line 4, where it says background color, write the word red. And the students will write red, and boom. And we congratulate your students. You've now done your first little piece of CSS on a website. And the students will go and find a whole bunch of other colors. Maybe they're going to make that blue. And it becomes more of an art class. That doesn't look very nice, but it creates a discussion around what is the kind of things that we should be building on a website. What are the kind of colors we should use? Now, within your first 25 minutes, 30 minutes, 10-year-olds have just created a website that is accessible via anyone in the world. And this really here is what we call our decomposition model, or deconstruction model rather, where we take a finished website and then we pull it apart, and the students learn this way. The teacher's teaching very Socratically. They're never meant to be giving the answers, but only asking questions. And of course, we go through a whole bunch of things with different colors, they start a little bit of HTML, and then eventually they get to make their own country. Now, some teachers might say each student gets a different country in the world, Jamaica, Brazil, or they could say you can make up your own country. And I'm going to make a country with a green flag and these 3 green circles, and these 4 green circles, and then I put this here. And these green circles maybe represent the sustainability that our country is trying to do. And once again, right there and then, that is open and accessible via anyone in the world. And that is just the very first lesson of my first website. We're going to go into the solar system, we're going to sustainability, we're going to entrepreneurship, and then dozens of projects that teachers can pick and choose and use. After that, we have a couple of the courses. We have Test the Dog, which is JavaScript. We have Kip the Robot, also JavaScript. And I'm going to show you some Python and fake news. This is Kip the Robot. Now I'm skipping a whole bunch of steps. This is lesson 2 of Kip the Robot. And what we try and do here is we don't only teach coding for coding's sake, we try and teach a little bit of mathematics. So in this case, we are learning directions, so north, south, east, west. But we're also going to do things where we might say to the students, okay, we'll make a triangle, but now we want to double the area of the triangle, double the length of the sides in this example. So the students here, there is their first triangle, there's their second one. Oh, it didn't quite work. So maybe they have to do that over there, and then they'll get that there. And then it becomes a maths problem that the students are trying to solve, and the coding is really just a tool that is used to solve the problem. In a similar way with Tess the dog, we have Tess, and if Tess turns left, I'm skipping steps again. If we go into the Tess the dog course, I've gone into the second lesson again, and Tess is learning how to Tess knows how to turn left. We have this move that Tess can do where Tess is turning left over here. But now we want Tess to be able to turn right. For Tess to turn right, we have to turn left 3 times. So this is not the most convenient way, but we could teach Tess something new. We could say, instead of turning right or turning left 3 times, why don't we teach Tess the function turn right? And all that function is turn left 3 times. So for example, we have Tess here. She's moving, she's putting a ball, she's moving, she's putting a ball, she's moving, she's putting a ball. Turning left 3 times to turn right. Well, why don't we rather remove these and rather create a function called turn right? So we're going to remove all of these over here. We're going to make those the turn right function, and we're going to make sure that this over here is going to say, instead of turn left just once, we need to turn left 3 times. So the students are going to write turn left. Now, of course, I'm skipping a couple of important steps here that the students will go through very pragmatically with the teacher. There we go, turn left, and there we go. And that worked. There's Tess turning right and getting her quiz to work. The next one I want to show you is our drone course. Now, schools a few years ago were asking us if they could learn how to build, if we could teach the students how to use drones. So we said we're not experts in drones, and drones are expensive, and typically, they break, and you might have one student crowded around, or 10 students crowded around one drone. So we actually partnered with a company called Aerobotics, or collaborated with them, where we got some of the best drone engineers in the world to teach the students about drones. Now, these drone engineers, they actually take these drones and they fly these drones over crops to video the crop and get a gauge on the health of the crop, the quantity of the yield of the crop, if it's overwatered, if it's underwatered. So we're pulling in a lot of sustainability, and in a similar way, we also wanted to make sure that, when I started this company years ago, it was me teaching my nieces to code, and they used to say coding's for boys. So we made sure to get the female engineers at Aerobotics to teach the students about drones and for loops and yaw and pitch and if statements. So here we have our drone. It's going to move forward a few times. It looks like it's moving forward 1, 2, 3, 4, but let's go up first, then we move forward again. Now, importantly, we're not only teaching Blockly. We do, of course, believe in Blockly, but we really need to step our students ahead of Blockly and into Python. So they'll go right from Blockly into Python to move forward in the exact same type of question. And then the very last thing I'll show you is, like I said, Code4Kids is first and foremost focused on training teachers and supporting teachers in teaching coding. But secondly, we want to make sure we're teaching real coding. So we have a course which we launched by featuring the Economist Educational Foundation, because all our teachers are asking us, what do we do about fake news? What do we do about AI? Again, we're not the experts, but the Economist Educational Foundation are experts in teaching students how to think very critically about the news they are reading and what's happening around them in the world. So with their content combining together, we have extended the content where the students will do the Economist Educational Foundation lessons. Then they'll go through and do a couple of our lessons and then actually create a news website that they'll get to make their own news website, where they have to create a pledge to what they're going to do about fake news. So we might not be able to be experts in AI and fake news, but we really trying to help students identify fake news. So if they're feeling angry when they read something or hear something, how could that be an algorithm that's having an effect on them? And that is Code for Kids. Thanks for listening.